Welcome, everybody, to the Indiana Postgame Show on the Grilling Truth Sports Network. As always, the Grilling Truth is powered by betting.net. Betting.net's your best bet for finding the online casino or sportsbook that's right for you. Make sure you check them out at betting.net. I am your co-host for the Indiana Basketball Postgame Show, Mike Goodpaster. Right now, I'd like to welcome in my co-host, 1981 national champion, Steve Risley. How you doing, Steve?
Pretty good. And one of these times you're going to have to push your screen over a little bit so I can show people the full picture that's behind me.
I can't push my screen over. That's the way it goes.
Well, you can block yourself for a second. Just
Well, nobody really.
block your camera for a second. Look at that. That's it right there. That's beauty in itself right there.
Sure it is. All right,
Legends of Indiana basketball.
Last night was not beautiful as Indiana falls to Northwestern 64-62. Just go ahead and give me your first takeaways from this game, Steve.
Tale of two cities, obviously. I mean, that's pretty obvious. Some things that I've harped on for a while, I think came true. Some of my fears that caused us some discrimination in the first half. You can't get down 20 points against a team like Northwestern and not expend all your energy clawing to get back. You can't go with your bench providing zero support, 0 points really from your bench. I think the 3-point shooting killed us, and as we get into the crux and I'll tell you why I think it killed us.
Theirs or ours?
Well,
theirs or ours?
Neither, except that their volume was higher than ours. They hit I think 8, and we hit
out of
3,
33.
So, yeah, but that's okay. They hit 8. That's 5 more points. We lost the game by 2 points. Woodson gets 2 technical fouls. That's 4 free throws. They go perfect. Northwestern goes perfect from the free throw line. That's 4 points, 5 points. I mean, there are dumbass things we did to lose this game. That's a good thing because you can fix dumbass things pretty quickly. So my takeaway was, boy, it's a tough one to let go, especially as hard as these kids fought and the character they showed in the second half to battle it back and actually take the lead a couple of times. So all is not lost last night. A win would have been great, would have been nice. But the way we lost, what we did wrong, I think is fixable.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's fixable. I mean, the one thing that concerns me is all the points seem to come from Trace Jackson Davis and Shafino. Race Thompson did play a decent game last night, scored 13 points, only 3 total rebounds. Trace Jackson Davis had 10 total rebounds.
Well, we out rebounded them. We killed them on the boards.
Yeah,
like 38 to 25 or something like that. I mean, it was not even close on the boards.
And Trace Jackson Davis, after a slow first half, had his normal heroic effort in the second half. But the issue I have is this: teams with quick guards are Indiana's kryptonite. We were talking about Superman off air.
Not a good
and this is for the second time this season. Bo Buie torched the Hoosiers. Buie followed up a 6-point performance in Indiana with 21, 6 and 4 on Wednesday night.
2 crucial ones.
And Buie refused to let Indiana steal a win from Northwestern in this game. He's not much of a shooting threat, but he's an aggressive downhill attacker, which Indiana has struggled to get the most against this year, I think. And when you look at that, I mean, all shifty guards have given this team issue. Michigan's Kobe Buffkin had 14 points against Indiana on Saturday. And then, of course, Maryland's Jameer Young sliced and diced Indiana's defense all night long when they beat us by 11 down in Maryland. And I think everybody keeps talking. I keep bringing up Xavier Johnson. I'm not bringing it up necessarily for point guard because to me, he's a lot like Shafino, where sometimes he'll force stuff. He's a little inconsistent. But Indiana's best perimeter defender is Xavier Johnson, especially for guys that want to slash and take it to the basket. And right now with Galloway, Kopp, guys like that, you don't have the quickness. They're getting nothing out of Tamar Bates. So to me, right now, this team's season will end in the tournament when they face a team with slashing guards that can take it to the hole, because small, swift guards continue to penetrate Indiana's defense.
No doubt. I mean, I think you hit one of the problems spot on right there. Is it that we are not a strong guard team? We've been band-aiding the whole thing. We've been getting away with it because of Trace Jackson Davis's incredibly strong inside play. Player of the year strong. If he's not player of the year in college right now, I don't know who would be. And we've been able to overcome it. We almost overcame it last night, almost. And that's definitely the biggest obstacle. It's probably the obstacle that Indiana faces that is going to be the hardest for them to correct. I just don't know without getting Johnson back. I don't know how you're going to correct it. I really don't. You've got to get Shafino and those guys, the quick guys, to be a little more desirable to want to play defense hard up top. Because you're right, Knopp and Galloway are smart, but let's face it,
They're not that quick.
Huh?
They're not that quick.
No, they're slow white boys. I mean, and in this day and age of athleticism in players, they're no match for these guys. So that was a great observation on your part, spot on. The other thing that bared itself out that I've been harping on is poor 3-point shooting. And let me just say, it's not the end all. I know I've harped on it, but I just
Dude, they were 8 for 33. That helped us that they took 33.
No. I'm not worried about Northwestern. Northwestern won the game. They won the game on several different faucets, so we'll get into if we want to. But I'm talking about Indiana. What happened was Northwestern came out and did a trap defense and packed everything in on Jackson Davis. Jackson Davis scored, I think, 4 points in the first half. Ineffective, really, for the most part. Now, to Woody's credit, he came out and did what I thought he had to do in the second half, in the sense that he spread the offense out and allowed isolation and one-on-one for Jackson Davis. It forced the defense not to be able to get into position to trap defense Jackson Davis, because you had to guard and respect our outside players. Although when you look at the fact that we were, 3 for
11.
3 for 11 from the 3-point line, A, we won't take the shot. And B, when we take it, we don't fucking hit the shot. So, excuse my French. Anyway, so the first half showed me a weakness in the sense that you can't rely on Jackson Davis. If you do, a good defensive team is going to figure out now to pack it in, which I thought was going to happen sooner than it did. But to credit Woodson's team and of coaches, countered that with spreading that offense out and allowing for isolation. That allowed Jackson Davis to once again become Superman and work his magic and get things done, and brought the team back from a 20-point halftime. The other thing is, without a variety of shots, without having that 3-pointer, we only put up 20 points in the first half. This is a high-powered offensive scoring team. And we didn't hit 20 until the buzzer, and that was on 2 free throws. So you can't have a team that's you got to have more opportunities to score than Indiana's allowing itself. And we're relying on Jackson Davis too much to score. We should bear it out in the first half. Second half, Mike made the changes. Now my question is, Mike, are you going to be aware of that and start the game against Illinois with those changes? You better keep your offense correct. If you don't think that, even as much as you don't like the Illinois coach, if he's not watching this game film and seeing, hey, pack it in on Trace Jackson Davis, we can slow him down, shut him down. I also felt, and I'll shut up after this and let you talk again, I felt that Northwestern controlled the tempo of this game much more often than we did.
They did, but that happens when you have guards that you can't defend. Right. I mean, there's really no way around that. Right. I thought the great thing was they showed resilience again. We saw it in the Rutgers win. But then again, I mean, Indiana's bench scored 3 points, and you touched on that a little bit ago. And there was so little production. Trace Jackson Davis, again, plays almost the entire game. He plays 39 minutes. Shafino plays all 40. Galloway plays 37. Malik Renaud, Tamar Bates, and Jordan Geronimo made 1 of 3 shots. It committed 5 fouls and 2 turnovers in a combined 32 minutes. You can't win that way. I mean, if you go back to 1981, the difference in that team, especially in the Final Four, was Jim Thomas, yourself, guys like that. You have to have something coming off the bench to help out. And if Trace Jackson Davis has got to play 40 minutes a night, hell, if we go 2 or 3 games in the Big Ten tournament and 4 days later have to play an NCAA tournament game,
we're going
to be in a lot of trouble.
Right. And I was going to bring that up, that it bodes to the comment you made last show of the fact that do we want to win the Big Ten? Do we want to play 3 games over the weekend and then turn around Thursday or Friday and have to go play a tournament game on the road somewhere, sleep in a hotel again? And how tired are we going to be if we're only relying on 5, maybe 6 players, period? So it's another Achilles heel that Indiana's facing. I think last night brought out, I don't even really care about the loss. I think you and I both, in our own minds, expected a loss in this game.
I don't know if I expected it, but I knew it was.
I wasn't
possible.
surprised that it happened. You're right. I didn't expect.
Illinois is a good team, and their strength is our weakness.
Honestly, when we got the lead late in the second half, I thought, okay, we're going to eke this out and walk away from here. And then we tie it up on a great defensive play by Callaway and get an easy bucket out of that deal. And then I thought, okay, we're tied. They're going to rush a shot, but Bo Brummel did a great job of just holding on to the ball and getting a great shot. And now there was I'll tell you what, you want to talk about controversial calls like with the Super Bowl, whether it was a hold or not. There was a pretty strong push off by Bo when he drove down the lane on that last shot. Now I don't care that it was called or not, because it wasn't enough to call a foul, but
how about
definitely
this,
pushed back on Galloway and pushed him away.
But
that could have been.
I don't know if you know this or not, but the dumbass official Scroto, I like to call him Scrotum because he is the worst college basketball official. Did you know that he graduated from Northwestern 30 years ago?
Wow. No, I did not know that.
He graduated from Northwestern 30 years ago. He's a horrible official.
How can they let him coach a Northwestern game if he graduated from Northwestern?
Yeah, I mean, they shouldn't be able to.
Why would you want to bring that on yourself?
Yeah. I mean, it's an absolute joke. In fact, he's been doing it for a while and nobody says anything. I mean, you can't even let him be a Big Ten official because if Purdue's playing Maryland tonight, you can't have Scrotum up there reffing the game because, he's got a dog in that fight because Northwestern's trying to catch Purdue for the Big Ten championship.
I tell you what, I don't care. Just like me, no matter where I live, even out here in LA, I'm still a Colts fan. So
we're not letting you ref a Colts game because you're a Colts fan, and you can say, "Well,
you wouldn't want me reffing a Colts game against the Rams."
This is the thing, though. I mean, maybe the dude is on the up and up, but it looks like he's not because he's an absolutely atrocious official.
Why would you put yourself in that position to face some criticism for letting a Northwestern grad do Northwestern games? He may have the highest integrity, he may. But just the appearance of it outright on its own is not good. But I don't know that there were enough bad calls in the game. And I don't even know that was a bad call. I just said, from my perspective watching, it was a clear push off by Bo on that last play. But they've been doing that to us all night long. So,
well, that's kind of the point. It happened all night long. The officiating was atrocious. But then this game was lost.
I'm not going to blame this game on officiating.
No, I mean, I think you can because I think anytime they played horrible in the first half, which is why they lost. But it's hard when you got somebody that's a graduate of the school that's actually the official. And luckily, the Big Ten has no integrity, so it's not going to bother them. They're not going to do anything about it. Well, they don't. I mean, the Big Ten's an absolute joke. Hell, anything involved with the NCAA is a complete flippant joke. So when we look at this, though, the biggest issue I have in what lost this game are those 4 points on the technicals. And only one of them was on Coach Woodson. The other was on the bench because you had some dumbass that stands up and speaks out of place yelling at an official. Number one, if I'm Mike Woodson, I tell him to go back to the locker room because he's done. Because you should know as an assistant coach not to say a word. And then on top of that, Woodson gets frustrated with his assistant coach. There was a travel. But you can't let this turn into a 4-point play for Northwestern at home.
When they're perfect from the free throw line.
Yeah. I mean, Woodson has got to be better than that. I mean, he touched the official. You touch the official, you're going to get a technical, especially when he graduated from Northwestern 30 years before.
I see all your point, and it can definitely all be taken in faith. However, I think the problems were Indiana's play in the first half, lack of ability to get multitasking from trying to get the ball into Trace. I applaud him for trying to do that, and I've said all season long, you've got to get the ball to Trace's hands 70% of the time. He's got to have a touch 70% of the time offensive. Doesn't mean he's got to shoot 70% of the time. It means
the offense needs to run through him, is what you're saying.
Yeah, 70% of the time, yeah, the offense needs to run through him. But when somebody throws a trapping defense like that on you that's geared to do one thing, and that's stop your star player, Bird was a master at it. Bird said, fine, you want to triple team me, Carl Nicks will score 40 and I'll have 39 assists.
Now, actually, Bird just scored against triple teams. He was that good.
Yeah, he scored. Well, yeah, when Bradley's throwing it up.
No, when he went to the NBA, he threw the ball to Kevin McHale.
Bradley was so bad, I scored 24 against Bradley. 26 against Bradley. Do you realize that in 2 games in college basketball, I scored just about 1/10 of my college career points. Against the Russians, I had 24, and against Bradley, I had 26.
Didn't count, did it? Wasn't it an exhibition?
Yeah, but still, no, it counted.
It did not. It's not in the record book.
Yeah, it was just not a league game.
It wasn't a regular season game.
You try playing against those guys didn't shout, wash their uniforms, but once every 2 months.
Well, the Russians, I mean, most of their women didn't either. They had the armpit hair and everything. It's horrible.
No, anyway, we're off on a tangent.
No, we're not. That wasn't a tangent. You want me to show you a tangent? Go ahead.
I like the way Indiana corrected itself. And like I said, I go back to spreading the offense out and forcing Northwestern to guard everybody rather than just all double and triple team with a traps defense on Jackson. However, I think they overthunk things in a sense that we can't hit a brick from the 3-point arc. We're to the point now we just don't even take them.
They're in the top 20 in field goal percentage.
Well, that's fine. But it's not like I said.
It had nothing to do with this game. It was because he couldn't defend the slashers.
Because while Northwestern was 8,
Northwestern kept us in the game by shooting 33 threes and only making 8.
No, they didn't keep us in the game. They were up by 20.
They not? They missed 25 threes.
That's okay. But they scored 5. They scored 5 more than we did. They beat us by 2 points. That's 5 extra points.
And what did we shoot from 2-point percentage?
I don't know. What did we shoot? I've got it here. I've got the stats. You pull it up. Game-wise, 2-point shooting, we were 48%.
So what were the turnovers, Steve?
Hang on. Turnovers, we had 13 and they only had 4.
There's your difference.
It's a contributor, no doubt.
No, that is the difference. 9 extra possessions will probably turn.
Yeah, I saw that number. I saw that number, and I tried to think of stupid turnovers.
Well, think of it like this: we had the ball stolen from us 7 times. We stole it from them once.
Was it stolen or thrown away? I mean,
what the hell was the difference? That's a steal.
Because of our turnovers, they got 7 more possessions.
Well, usually if a ball's forced to be thrown away,
there are a multitude of reasons why we lost. Anytime you lose a game by 2 points, you can keep digging and turning over stones. You're going to find red flags under almost every stone you turn over.
But Steve, I'm telling you, if every game the other team we play shoots 8 for 33, I'll take it because that means they're missing 25 shots.
I agree with you, Mike. I agree that's not a solid percentage in its own right. However, that being said, only taking 11 3-point attempts on our part and making 3 of them is not healthy either.
Steve, I'll tell you what, if they'd have went 4 for 11, they'd have won the game.
If it's a major word.
No, because you're giving me ifs because you're always harping on 3-point shooting. This is not a 3-point shooting team.
I'm not harping on it.
They run their offense. You bring it up every show, Steve.
Right, because it's something they have done nothing to correct.
How do you correct that? Their offense doesn't run through 3-point shots.
Well, they need to do it so they get some 3-point looks, and they work some schemes into where they're setting up for 3-point shots. I mean, in the end, Miller Kopp is a good 3-point shooter. I think his problem is he doesn't shoot enough of them. I think he doesn't get in the game feel of shooting. You're right. Let's drop the 3-point shot. I'll harp on it again because I think in the end it's going to be what kills us in this dance.
Now, in the end, what kills us will be lack of defending slashers and really good point guards.
Well,
That
because
kills you
they'll come
quicker
up
than
against some
anything.
team that's got good perimeter shooters. We
No.
won't be able to defend them. They'll drill us. They won't go 8 for 33. They'll go 18 for 33.
Well, if they do that, our
And
defense is so bad it won't really matter how we shoot them because it's hard to go 18 for 33.
okay,
That just means you got a hot team. And
right.
next up,
You got good 3-point shooters.
Next up, we've got the Illinois Fighting Illini, who sit a half game behind Indiana. And our first game there at Illinois, Indiana blew them out 80-65. Indiana shot 61.8% from field goal percentage from 2-point shots. This is the interesting thing. Illinois was 8 for 19 from 3. Indiana was 3 for 9 and won by 15. I just figured I'd throw that out there. But the biggest number here in why Indiana beat Illinois, Indiana was 9 for 13 for 70% from the free throw line. Not great, but Illinois was 9 for 23, 39% from the free throw line. Indiana out-rebounded them 39-27, and Illinois had 11 steals. Indiana had 4 total turnovers. Indiana had 17 turnovers in a game they won by 15. And Illinois had 9, Steve. So this has a big difference. We shot 61% in that game from 2-point range. They shot 38%. So when we look at this game, Trace Jackson-Davis, I think, destroyed them last game. 35 points, 15 for 19 field goals, 5 for 6 from the free throw line. This game is in Indiana. This is a game that the Hoosiers must win because you've still got a shot at the Big Ten title if Purdue loses to Maryland tonight, which I think they will.
Oh, is it my turn? I mean, I'm not being a jerk. I mean, I'd want to let you.
Are you going to say something?
I am. Point. No, I would tend to agree. Again, I look at all the mistakes that you brought up about Illinois. Most all of those are fixable pretty quickly and maybe fixed by now, for all we know. I expect Indiana to rebound well Saturday and come back and win this game. It's, I believe, a noon start. I'd like to see it be a later start so they get a little more rest. But that's not going to happen. So, Indiana's got to just do what they've been doing. I wouldn't change course too much with this Indiana program just because they lost at Northwestern by 2 points to a game that we thought could go either way from the get-go.
Yeah, and Northwestern, I think, has already beaten Illinois once in Illinois.
I
Northwestern's
think
a good team.
Indiana should be able to handle Illinois. We seem to be stronger. They seem to have nothing for Jackson-Davis. Although let's see what they gleaned from the Northwestern game about doing a jump trap on him and plugging up the middle again like Northwestern did in the first half. And
Illinois is a talented team, but they're all over the place. I mean,
they beat their coaching.
They beat Rutgers 69-60. No, because he's a dumbass. And then at Penn State, they lost 93-81. So they're coming into Indiana. They are sitting at 17-8. These are 2 NCAA tournament teams. And like I said, Indiana poses a lot of matchup problems for Illinois. And the best player for Illinois, though, is Terrence Shannon, who's a guard averaging 17 points a game. So that could be scary. He only shoots 32% from 3-point range. They're not a great shooting team. They only shoot 31% from 3-point line.
Yeah, they're beatable.
Yeah, they're beatable. They should be
very beatable. I mean, this is a game I would be incredibly disappointed in the Hoosiers at this point in the season if they lost this game. That means they're tired or they're losing focus that they've had for a long period of time here with winning 8 of 9 or 8 of 10. Now, it's still a damn good percentage to win 8 of 10. I think that Northwestern definitely established themselves as the 1 or 2 seed coming out of the Big Ten, depending on what happens to Purdue. I can't believe that Northwestern's not ranked. I believe they will be ranked this week, having beaten the number 1 team and the number 14 team.
Well, they've won 4 straight games against top 25
top 10,
competition
top
right now.
Ranked teams. Yeah. So, yeah, Indiana just got to focus on Indiana, reestablish itself. Illinois is a good game to do that. Is playing at home, going back and sleeping in your own bed for a while, hanging out with your friends, eating at your local joints you've been to, practicing on your own court. All that does make a difference this late in the season because you're tired, you're worn down. Hopefully, Mike is cutting practices down. I know when I was playing, we would start with 3.5 hour practices in September, and by the time late February and early March rolled around, we were only practicing about an hour, and that wasn't even nearly as physical or strenuous as it was earlier. So hopefully, Mike has employed that same strategy that he would have learned that I learned and things like that. So team needs some rest. They've been going at it. They need to look at film, and I still would like to see him insert a couple of 3-point shooting plays just to get the feel of it. They don't have to build their entire offense around it, but I would do something just to solidify some type of confidence in a 3-point shot, be it from Miller Kopp, be it from Shafino. Who's the other kid who's a good 3-point shooter?
Galloway, Bates.
Galloway. Yeah. Galloway hit 2 big ones there that got us back into the game. Came down and drilled 2 3-pointers in a row. We have the ability. We just got to build it in the offense and give a couple kids a green light to take them when they want to take them. I think that does a world of good for our offense.
All right, Steve. I want to remind everybody we'll be on air around 15 minutes after the Illinois game on Saturday. And make sure you head over now and see for yourself. Betting.net makes it easy to find all the legal online casinos or sports books in your state. Make sure you check them out. And also follow us on Twitter at Grilling Truth. You can follow Steve Risley on Twitter at SRisley34. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that good stuff, notifications on our YouTube channel. And also, if you want to bet on the Indiana-Illinois game, which I don't know what the spread is yet, you can go to SI Sports Illustrated Sportsbook, which is in the link in the description of the YouTube video. It's down below. And also, sign up with stake.us and use our exclusive promo code TGTSocial to secure your unique 5% rakeback bonus. That is Social Casino, which is a lot of table games, a lot of poker, which is a table game, of course. And what do you call those one things? Slots. You get the slots too, Steve. You're an old folk. You probably like slots and bingo. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to wrap it up. And I want to remind you guys, tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern will be our Super Bowl recap with myself, Steve, Joe Spillman, and Dan Kornhauser. Check us out at 7 o'clock Eastern tonight. But for now, for Steve Risley, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been watching and listening to The Grueling Truth, where the